The first message that I found for myself in this whole Gangā Avataraṇa Māhātmyam that you see in this is a message of making life choices. To me, that's the last class I did talk a little bit about that. Quickly, I made a passing reference of it. Take these 60,000 plus 1 children for Sagara. So the message is very important because Bhrigu did not say you will have 60,001 children. He said one of you will get 60,000 children, the other person will get one child. So it was not 60,001 divided in any format. You have to carefully look at that. It was 2 compartments. One compartment of 60,000 children and another compartment of 1. And he also said, if you recall that shloka which we saw last class, he said, one child will further your clan, your race, the 60,000 will perish. Perish he didn't say, but he simply said, one child will further your, he did not talk about the other. So which one do you, that's how he mentioned and all that we saw. Now, this I think is actually bringing a very important reality of life, which we can reflect and contemplate on. Essentially, life, according to me, constantly throws choices in front of us. At every moment of our life, it throws choices in front of us, and these choices many a times, although we may not have that much of subtlety to observe, many of these choices come in a pair of, good and pleasant, or the shreyas and the prayers, if you want to use the Kathopanishad kind of a framework. I think life has choices. That is what this message is actually telling us, that life has choices, and the choices have a dichotomy. One is in plenty and the other is not in plenty. The 60,000 represents the plenty part of it. The 1 represents the not so plenty part of it. It's the scarce part of it in some ways. So essentially, what is the message here? The message is the scarce things that we actually get in our life, and we have to even sometimes recognize what is the scarce thing. We may make a wrong judgment of what is scarce. We may make a wrong judgment of that, but the scarce thing is actually the good part of it. The good is actually far in between and few in number. That's how the very nature is. It throws a lot of muck along with it. It will also throw, in many life situations, we can actually think about it. In life, it throws a lot of muck along with those nice things. We need to actually make a difference between the two. It's that homework is ours actually in many ways. It's not it's not labeled so nicely, and we are told these are all things which may appear very attractive at the beginning, but after a while it may be the source of trouble for you. These may look so unattractive at the beginning, but they are the ones which are no labeling. They are all left as homework. So good is far in between and few in number. Actually, good is generally not appealing at the outset. By and large, this is true. What is good? That's why we need Kathopanishad. That's why this boy brought that message so beautifully. I mean, all that can be called as a story where the boy waited on the gates of Yamapuri for 3 days. All that story you have to actually discard. You should see what are all the things Yama actually tempted the boy with. The boy said, I don't need all of them. In fact, very powerful statements. Some of shlokas are very, very strong there. He said, keep all that with you, because all of them have end one day. You keep all that which have end, I don't need. That boy had a high level of discrimination to understand. All these, he gave him so many things that keep all of them with you. Because all of them have end one day. You keep it. I don't need. Boy was able to say. See, even Gautama Buddha, when Prince of Kapilavastu became Buddha, was, what? Are you mad? This is such a comfortable living and all that. Why do you want to give up all these? So here are only 2 answers. He had two questions. He said, you answer this question, I am willing to think. He said, Yadi ishta janana viyogaha na bhavati. People close to me will not be separated from me forever. Give me that guarantee first. Can you give me the guarantee with all your science, with all your wealth, with all that you have? Can you give me a guarantee that ishta jananam viyogaha na bhavati? He meant his wife. He said, because he saw a dead body, he saw so many things when he stepped out of the palace. So the first question he asked is, please tell me, will it happen? Can anybody give guarantee on that? In Puranas, you may read stories like that, but there are stories intended for something else. You should not take the stories on the face value and on the stula of that. So he said, Ishta jananam viyogaha na bhavati. Idi, janma, jara, vyadi, dukkha and all those doesn't happen. He says, can you guarantee that you will not get old age? Nobody can guarantee. You bring the best of the scientists. You cannot. You cannot guarantee you will not get, because this is Prakriti Visesha. Shad Vikaras. In our framework, the Shad Vikaras are there. Asti, Jayate, Vardayate, Parinamate, Sirshate, right? Mriyate. That is true of not us. That is true of this. This was a concept. Asti. Jayate, we made it 6 years back. Vardate, its use really started growing and growing. Vardate. Right? Parinamate. I know what kind of changes has gone. There is a lot of dirt, there is a lot of things they have changed, all that has happened here. Sirshate, I think a few years we'll throw it because it will start shaking. Because of overuse, some nuts and bolts will loosen up, one glass will break. At least minimum, this computer will change, it will become an old computer. So these 6 states of Vikara, 6 states of transition, as Swami Chinmayananda says, life is between womb to tomb. Those 2 end points are fixed. Womb to tomb is fixed. What you do in between is what you need to ask. So that is what it is. So good is that kind of discrimination. How many people have discrimination not at a conceptual level, at a level of able to understand it? Nobody has. That's why Bhagavad Gita starts with the first Ashochan Anvashochastam Prajnavadamsya Bhashate Gatasun Agatasun Nanusochanti Pandita. So learned people have understood this world of transition. They want to step out of it. Na anusochanti pandita. You prajnavadamsa bhashate. You talk as if you know everything. You have mastered all this knowledge and all that. Arjuna was just jumping up and down like, how can I kill this person? How can it happen? How can I? He said, what have you understood? Gatasun, agatasunscha. People who have gone, people who are going to go. Nanusochanti panditaha means, it doesn't mean they don't care for them. It means they have developed a sense of wisdom and discrimination. With that lens of wisdom and discrimination, they will do vyavahara. They will be in the part of the world. That's what he means by that. So that discrimination only will bring this. Good is generally not appealing at the outset. Even counterintuitive many a times. That's why in 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, when he talks about Sukha, I mentioned it. Yat arambe vishamiva pariname amrutopamam atma tat satvika sukham atma buddhi prasadajam. That sukha which at the beginning will look so unattractive, vishamiva, it's like poison. Pariname amrutam, that is called satvika sukha. Whereas the next shloka he says that which is amrutam at the beginning. Why? Because of indriya, vishaya indriya, because of your engagement of your sensory organs into the sense objects. Initially it looks like amrutam. Pariname vishamiva. Ulta, exactly the reverse definition. That sense of discrimination not in concept or theory or knowledge, in the way we walk and talk and behave. So that is, so good is a less treaded path. The less treaded path, not for any other reason. In fact, all of us are looking for good. All of us are looking for that fulfillment, and nobody says, I want to 24/7 want to be miserable, unhappy. Nobody says that. It's only their inability to see this power of discrimination. So these choices are only telling us that such things are order of nature. the good and the bad will come in a certain proportion which are disproportional in terms of count, in terms of number or count. That's one big message. So the corollary of that message, which we need to also understand, is individuals actually need to make these choices. Because Bhrigu, when the two wives asked, look at that shloka, when the two wives asked, who will get this 60,000, who will get one? He said, it's up to you. You have to decide. That's what he said. It's up to you. What you want, you will get. What is the message there? The message is, the choice is, in fact, in chapter 5 of Bhagavad Gita, there is one 14th shloka, I think. Na kartrutvam, na karmani, na karmapalam srijati prabhu, swabhavastu vartate. He says, good, bad, something bad happened to me, something good happened to me, I got a bad effect of bad phala, karma phala. He said, na srijati prabhu. He says, there is no Lord sitting here and then handing over. Although, thematically, sometimes, even in a Purana, even in stories and movies and kathas, we may explain it like that. He says, na srijati prabhu. Swabhavastu vartate. You made choice. You came with a certain framework. And with that framework, you did vyavahara in life. But when something came, you started blaming. When something good came, you never said, God gave me. When something bad came, you said, God is cruel, unkind, irrational, that kind of things. So that is also something which that shloka says, Swabhavastu vartate, na kartrutvam, na karmani, na srijati prabhu, Swabhavastu vartate is what he said. So, when Bhrigu told, it is your choice. 60,000 children whose, one child whose is your choice. So, by saying that, this message that he has given, the choice is entirely ours. To choose between good or otherwise. So, the only thing we can say, so where is the Lord come into picture? We can pray to the Lord saying, give me that sense of vichara, give me the sense of discrimination. That we can pray for. The brain must, the right thinking must come at the right time. If some person gets the right thinking at the right time, then God has blessed. Ishvara Sankalpa is there. Aishwarya is there with us. That's the only meaning. So the choices are always made by us. Now we can pray to the Lord saying, endow me with the right sense of discrimination. So all these can come from this story or this episode that you see in Gangā Avataraṇa. The 60,000 child plus one child can bring us this much of thinking, which are actually facts of life. So that is something which is very important for us to understand. The second message I see in this Gangā Avataraṇa Māhātmya is the importance of ancestors. Okay? Because this entire story is a 5-generational effort for redemption. It's not one, I mean, we keep saying Bhagīratha Prayatna. Bhagīratha was the last link in the chain. There are 5 generations involved in this. It started with Sagara first, because Sagara only, sent the 60,000 children with search of the sacrificial hearts and all that thing happened. He himself was making effort to redeem them. Not to be found, to find where they are and redeem them and so on. Then that one child, Asamanja, his greatest contribution is to get Anshuman. Because Bhrigu said one child will further your race. That was this Asamanja actually. But he made a major contribution of, progeny. It is a value added. Because only then it happened, no, in some ways.
He didn't do tapas.
No, he didn't do. The tapas calculation, you won't find it. Without him itself, there is 125,000 years. If you go by the numbers that are there in the, story. Okay. Anyway, then of course Anshuman came, and then Dilipa came, and then Dilipa's son was Bhagīratha who came. Right? Now, the question is, first question is, what is the motivation for Bhagīratha to redeem ancestors 4 generations before? It's a very important question to ask. Today, one generation itself seems to be a problem for us. For many of us, the immediate generation itself seems to be a problem, which was not about 50, 70 years back. In this country, I am saying. Today, the immediate generation itself seems to be a problem. We seem suddenly find it's very difficult to handle. So we want to have some nana nannies and old age homes and all kinds of things we are doing in this country in the last 20, 30 years. We have become very advanced and all that. What is the motivation for Bhagirath to redeem 4 generations back? Okay? If you carefully look at the Pitrupunda Karya, the Shraddha Karya, 3 generations are always to be worshipped. In Shraddha, you will find 3 Pindas. Pitamaha, Pitapitamaha, all those they will say. Prapitamaha, Matamihi, Matapitamihi, and Matamihi, all those, you know, this 3 plus 3, 6, actually. Oh?
Become more important.
Yes, actually. The better half, including that, 12.
Total 12.
So, this is again something which is part of our understanding. Now, I can use what is called, there is one, I can, as a professor of management, I can explain why this is important. From a management perspective also, I can talk. You know, we have a theory, Gary Hamel and Prahlad, right? They came with a theory called path dependence theory. All this core competence, there are a lot of nice things which this Prahlad and all these people came. Their argument, it's a big theory in management. Strategy literature, you have to read it. Strategy literature, you have to read Porter's thing and this, you know, this. The argument, I mean, I'm just bringing a little management to just say, the argument is simple. I mean, I'm removing all the jargons and putting it in simple English. Their argument is where you can go is a function of what you walked. In a nutshell, that is what this core competence theory is. Where you can go is a function of what path you took. It's called path dependence. If you have traveled in this, you can travel a little further. That's what it means, right? Actually, we very much strongly believed in that when in this birth, all that. You know, Krishna also says, Shuchinam Shrimatam Gehe Yoga Brashto Vijayate. In 6th chapter, he says. Atava, you know, there is a 2 nice shlokas in chapter 6. In other words, these are all very deep ideas in our culture. You don't be born as a son or a daughter just by throw of a die. It never works like that. There is a whole lot of dependency with which this whole, you know, in fact, in some Upanishads and Vishnu Purana and all those, it is there. How the soul which departs, you know, we have the reincarnation, birth, death, reincarnation. So the process of the re-entry, after one Janma, when the soul goes, how does it make a selection to come back? It's a very carefully thought about process, and how it comes from there into the cloud, and how it gets into the rain, how it gets into the food grains, how it gets into the father's body, Rethas, into the vitality, and then get planted into the. It's a very detailed process which is being explained. I mean, all that is trying to say, being born in a family. I keep saying that in my family quite often. I say, whenever sometimes, you know, I keep saying, we can't just either come like this as brothers and sisters. Impossible. It's a process which is all. It's a chain with a long link, with so many connections. So it is not separate. But when all those ideas are going to the background, then we don't understand the meaning of it. If you take that framework, understand the framework and the logic of it and how it fits into and so on, then it is no surprising that Bhagirath actually wanted to redeem ancestors 4 generations before. Because this was part of our understanding of how the whole things work. See, what we need to very carefully understand, see, there are 2 models for this human life. The Indian model, or maybe some of the Eastern religions also, I think, perhaps only the Indian, I don't remember, I haven't read that much, so I can't say, is this model of, you know, reincarnation. The soul, the Atman is born again and again. There is a very detailed framework on that. So I'm not getting to it, but this Punarjanma, that you are born, you die, again you are born, so on. Going concern. But I actually, accounting 101 course can be taught only with Indian philosophy. how retained earnings at the end of 1 year, transfer it into the balance sheet. There is the equivalent of all that in this model. Actually, the Janma and the Samskaras, Vasanas, all that very beautifully you can teach. Anyway, this is one model. The other model is the Semitic religions. Western religions by and large don't believe in a reincarnation. It's a single birth. So when you have two different models, the explanation, the frameworks will be very different. So all these are part of this framework, and it's not casually said in one sentence and left. It's a complete linkage of all relevant logic which will explain this model of Punarjanma and how the escape velocity is built and finally the soul liberates. Right? Krama Mukti, Videha Mukti, so many models are there. It's not a very casual piece of knowledge. There's a whole gamut of repository of knowledge available in Puranas, Upanishads, and all our this thing, which are all explaining it. So if you take all of them, then you will not be surprised that ancestors are very important. Today it seems to be very surprising and very inconvenient for us. We have missed some of those models. We have seen the last 200, 300 years, there is a bit of a sort of a discontinuity which has happened, which has thrown all these challenges of, we practice something from a model, but we don't know what that model is. So either you have to know the model or give up the practice. Easiest thing is to give up the practice. So you have two choices. Either you give up the practice or get to know the framework so that you have meaning to what you do and do things. That may need a little effort and a genuine feeling that I should know what I am and who I am and so on. So if you bring all that, this will make sense. And that is why the second important message is culturally, as a model of how this Karana Sharira, Linga Sharira becomes a Karana Sharira, and then Stula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, and then all that, how it goes back, right? Annat Bhutani Jayante, Chatan, Anyena Vardante. We saw all that in Taitra Upanishad in great detail. How this whole process of Imeva Itani Bhutani Jayante, Yena Jatani Jivanti, Yat Prayanta Vishammishanti, Bhargavi Varani Vidya. All those. So that is why this is important, and this is a very important message. If you have to be part of this framework, better understand the whole thing. Then there is a lot of meaning to what we do, and then we will do it with a sense of satisfaction and a goal and a certain purpose. Today there is a bit of so many discontinuities, and so it is introducing so many challenges of a living which is all full of conflict. And all these are coming from this fundamental equation which we need to understand. Not able to see is not equal to does not exist. Although scientific thinking, it is okay for scientific thinking. Not able to see is not equal to does not exist. Because if you take that position, just pick out, you see one of my colleague here. Me and he, we were doing some consulting. And we used to travel and so on. So all these, many things you learn in many ways. So we went to a place we used to go every month and all that. So morning and evening he used to do a certain kind of prayers when we were just talking. He lost his father when he was 17 years. And he lost his mother when he was maybe 40 years, 45 years, maybe 45 years, 43. This happened after all that. So during a conversation he said, who said my parents are not there? Just because I'm not able to see them. He went to that level. He said, I don't think I have to physically all the time see my parents. Only then I'll come to. He said, I am able to feel the presence of my parents. I am praying with them, for them. It's a very high level thinking. It's not necessary that everything that you see are the only things available. Because to disprove that, I don't need too much time. I just received, last week I received one WhatsApp message. There are all these plates. Then they said, please look at the plates. As you keep looking at the plate, as you look at the last plate, all the plates are turned upside down. So this illusion, there are hundreds of such things. In fact, I was conducting a meeting for my university in Pune. So one of the faculty there, sir, he showed me a sort of, in his WhatsApp, he showed me a sort of a pattern. I think a person with a certain dress and all that. He said, sir, what color do you see? So I looked at it, I said, I see yellow and blue. Okay. Huh. Then Swamiji was sitting next to him, he showed it to Swami, he said, what color is it? Swami also said yellow and green. Next to him, my registrar was sitting. He said, it's white. He said, it's white. Couldn't believe. We said, no, it is yellow and green. He said, no, it is white. Then I told him, please take, I think this is because of your phone and all that. Please take it. So I said, get a printout. First we put it onto the computer and saw it. Again, 3-4 people said it is white. It's not color blindness, but they say it is white. Whereas some of us said it is green, and so what we see is what reality is actually a starter according to me. You should read Panchadashi, Vidyaranya's Panchadashi, where some good discussions are there on this. Not able to see is not equal to does not exist. So that's a very rudimentary starting way of perception and understanding reality and so on. All that is there. So I think we need to understand that message also from here.
I don't know what is the right answer, but we have come to believe this does not exist over that period of time very strongly for whatever the belief is.
So the vision of each person is different.
No, I was told. No, I was told it's not that. I was told if you are a right brain person, how it works, I don't know. I believe if you are a right brain person in that situation, you will see the color, the green and blue.
Gold color.
If you are an analytical, gold color. If you are a left brain person, you will not. I couldn't believe it because in the same room, same time, people are saying I'm not seeing why, I'm only seeing white. So I've told some neuros. So with more and more research, what are we trying to show? We are trying to show is not what you are not able to see is not what does not exist. It may be so many other things. Anyway, okay.
Ajnana is what
Huh?
Ajnana is the reason for.
The third message that I see in this whole episode is all about indications of so many things about indications of great effort. This Gangā Avataraṇa, one message is phenomenal effort in their own dramatic way. They have explained it actually, right? And what are those? These are the ones. Sagara did penance for 60,000 years. That's what in the Katha we saw in the set of things. 60,000 years. Anshuman did penance for 32,000 years, and Dilipa did 32,000 years, and Bhagirath did 1,000 years. Bhagirath was much more strenuous in his penance, perhaps, but the fact is 1,000 years. So if we had all of them, it comes to 125,000. It's a solid number. We go by the number simply. You don't, as I told you, you can remove a few zeros also. You don't worry about these numbers. The message it is saying is that in the story, the message is there is phenomenal effort. That is the message. The rest are all details, whether 125,000 is possible, who had the clock and measured it, do you have a reference? And I think you have to leave it. That's not the issue. It's not the issue. The issue is, in their own ways, they have said it. What essentially it points to is there is great effort getting into. So this is only one. The great effort is, I have used the number to bring the great effort. It's not only number. In the 10 stories that we saw, 10 sargas we saw, there are other things we saw. I will bring all of them. 60,001 is another big number. There are a lot of big numbers, okay? 125,000 years of effort is another number. 5 generations of coordinated effort is another number. See, these numbers, these 25,000, see, there is this Purusha Sukta, says Sahasra Sirsha, Purusha, Sahasraksha, Sahasrapat. You have to understand it. It's not that there are exactly 1,000 eyes and 1,000 legs and Sahasra Sirsha, Purusha, Sahasraksha, Sahasrapat. In moment you say 1,000, it means thousands of. Thousands of means infinitely large, which means the God has manifested into infinite living beings. So if you count, there will be thousands of. That's how some of the descriptions are like that. So you should not go by the numbers per se. The numbers are meant to actually tell you something. That's Sukshma. This is the Stula part. So you have 125,000 as a number, 60,001 as a number, and 5 generations of coordinated effort and so on. So all that it is saying is there is something behind this story, and that story is that this whole episode is actually pointing to phenomenal effort that has been exerted. Rest are all details. We can, that's why I said, remove the zeros, put the zeros, all that you do. The message that we are getting is one other message that is coming out of this Gangā Avataraṇa Māhātmya is this whole thing is pointing to phenomenal effort which has gone behind. Right? Now this effort is even more. I'll take one more slide. And question is, so the question is, what is the fallout of a great effort? Now, simple logic says a great effort with the right kind of focus must lead to a great goodness. It's a simple thing, no? It's a great effort with the right kind of thing must lead to great goodness, right? So great efforts invariably will have great impact. Impact can be good or bad. If you put it on the right direction, it will be great impact on the good side. If you put it on the wrong side, great effort can be on the wrong side. So you can do 20 years of nuclear research and finish Nagasaki and Hiroshima. That's possible. Great effort will leave great impact. How do you use it? Now Trump says, I also have a button. Kim also says, I have a button. All those are fine. But it all requires great efforts will lead to great impact. That is, good or bad is a different story. That's what in fact, yesterday I was lecturing in my university to my students. I analyzed, we are doing Ramayana now for them. Ramayana means we don't tell story, we are actually. So I said in one class, I spent only on analyzing Rama and Ravana. I told them this is a title class, so I leave all other characters. I will take only Rama and Ravana, and then about 1 hour, 15 minutes, I gave them a talk. I brought some shlokas from all these and first showed Rama, certain things. Then I showed Ravana. All that I did. So the point I made, we saw in the first session the part of it, little bit of it we saw. The Ravana part alone we saw in the first session of this series. Gita also in 17th chapter we saw. Correct. So what I meant at that time was Valmiki, throughout his epic, Ramayana, he put Ravana and Rama on the same pedestal. It's not even like this, that Ravana has put one step lower and Rama has put one step higher. Rama, it was Ravana who said Trinamatra Bhuta. Again and again he said these Manushas are useless. So many places in Ramayana, Ravana says these are useless characters. When he asked for his boon itself, he said, I'm not bothered about Manushya, they are useless fellows. Ravana did that. But Valmiki, throughout the treatment, he put Rama and Ravana on the same platform. That's why finally when he described the war, he said, Gahanam Gahanakaram, Sagaram Sagaropamam, Rama Ravanayor Yuddham, Rama Ravanayor Iva. He said, these two are real equal. I can't give you a simile. Rama Ravanayor Yuddham, Rama Ravanayor Iva. There is no second comparison I can give. How? Gahanam Gahanakaram. What is the comparison I can give for this unlimited space? Comparison is unlimited space only. Sagaram Sagaropamam. What is the simile for Sagar? I don't know. It's so huge and so vast and so on. It's ocean is like an ocean. A vast amount of space called universe is like universe. And then he says, Rama Ravanayor Yuddham, Rama Ravanayor Iva. So when I analyzed, finally I said, both of them were on equal footing when it comes to greatness. Rama was a great character, Ravana was a great character. But on goodness, Ravana lost heavily. Completely lost. So that's why he perished. So therefore the impact can be, from impact I went there actually. Impact can be a good impact or a bad impact, depending upon whether Rama used it or Ravana used it. But the fact is, great effort leads to great impact. Now the efforts are not just the numbers which I brought, but also it is actually so many people are involved in this. I mean, if you look at the story, so many characters came. in the story. Gangā did not come just like that. Devas went to, Shiva and said, don't procreate. Then Parvati got angry. So many stories are there. And then Brahma, Shiva, Gangā, the Devas, Indra was involved. Elephants, some 4 elephants in 4 directions was part of the story. And Vinata, that Vainateya was there. And then Kapila, then Jatnu. So it is a coordinated effort it's a huge effort of so many people cutting across so many spheres of this thing. So if so much effort goes, the impact has to be of equal magnitude, if not more. Now, why I am saying all that is why this river is so, it's not a river for us. This is a very holy thing for us, and so many shlokas. I just showed 1 or 2 shlokas. We have a certain attitude towards this. So it's a great good for the society in a very sustained manner requires such efforts. This Sapta Sindhu, everything is originating from the same place actually. In this country, if you see, there are only 2 systems. In fact, they are from the same source. From that only one flew. That shloka was also there. I didn't bring it. In these 10 chapters, it was there. It flew from there and split into 2. The Sapta Sindhu went on this side. And then the other came like this, which is the Ganges. So much of such a massive system is a perennial goodness that has happened and is going to happen for generations. So that is the kind of effort. So the efforts are all phenomenal. So at some stage the impact will just become exponential, because the efforts will also go up, and then the impact will become exponential. That's a message. I think great impact we can get only through great efforts. This is a very important message for us to reflect on. And I just put the effort and the impact on both sides. I would leave it as a homework. I didn't want to actually say anything. I wanted somebody to keep worry about it.
Don't give up till the end. That's what they say.
Each one of us can make our own judgment of what we want to.
It's not proportional.
So many events in the episode, actually speaking. And these all could have raised any number of questions. Okay? There are many questions. I just put 4 or 5 bullets just into a page, just to give you a little sense of what I am saying. Why did Devas request Shiva not to procreate in the first place? We can ask that question. Why? What is the idea behind all this? That's how the whole story started. Why were Sagara's wives blessed with 60,001 children by Bhrigu? 60,000 plus 1. Why? Why did it happen? Why were 60,000 sons burned to ashes? What sin did they commit? Why did you suddenly bring some 60,000 people and put them in front of Kapila Humkara, and then in that very blowing of the air, yes, it's a Vishnu Avtara is what. Siddhanam Kapilo Munihi is not this, I think. Yes.
Oh, okay.
See, these are the 27 avatars, 27 avatars, 26 avatars. The Ashavataras are very prominent. But there are 26 avatars. Kapila is one of them. Kapila is. Yes. In fact, that Kapila is different, I think. Sankhya Kapila. That's what. Ishvara, that's called Ishvara. Yeah. No, that Kapila is different. That Kapila is different. Not Sankhya Darshaka is not the same Kapila. Yeah. Then why long years of penance of 4 generations? 4 generations of penance are left unanswered. Then Bhagirath comes and then it is finally answered. We can think like that. There are many such things which will come to our mind. Why did Shiva hold Gangā in his hair? What was the role of Jaknu in this whole trajectory of Gangā? So, one can endlessly ask questions. The point I want to make, I mean, I'm using these questions pertaining to this episode to bring a larger point for discussion, right? And the larger point is as follows. This is our, preoccupation in life. And these questions may not affect us, but there are hundreds of questions which affects us. It's what we do. Our preoccupation in life is reality unfolds. Here also some reality unfolded. And we hypothetically ask all these questions. These questions are not going to really affect us in any ways, honestly speaking. But from there, I'm moving to a situation where questions will affect us. We keep asking the question all the time in our life. This is what we do. And how do we do? First of all, we are unable to accept the reality as it unfolds. This is where the question starts. Otherwise, you will never ask questions. If you have that much of grace and wisdom and all that, you keep doing. Put the best foot forward. Keep going. Things happened. You just went on. And there's a very high level. Now we are not like that. So this is where we start. We are not able to accept reality in our life. Then we branch on two dimensions. Actually, we branch on two dimensions. One dimension is we want to make an effort to understand why events unfolded one way or the other. A simple question. Why did 60,000 people die for no fault of them? I mean, I'm just using that. But then I say in life, we start asking, why did it happen? You try to make sense of why something happened. And the more and more you try to make sense of what is happened, you will, if you are wise enough, you will find you will be defeated at the end of the day. If the realization comes sooner, don't waste your time like this. Best thing is to go. But we do it. We seek to understand why events unfolded one way or the other. This is one-dimensional track on which this trying to make sense of events. We all do it. We want to make sense of events. Actually, it is foolish, according to me. It's not time well spent, according to me. Or there is another dimension in which we travel. And that dimension is, it's not making sense of even, I mean, it's part of it in some ways. I have put it in a slightly different way. We start questioning about many things and events happening in our life, in and around our life. It's also part of it in some way, but I say it differently. We question, why did it happen? Why this? Why it did not happen? Why it happened? And so on and so forth. We start. So this is how we actually spend a good amount of our time. And if you travel on both the directions, what would happen is you invariably get to the third stage. And that is we start judging everything around us. And people, situations, gods, Lord, everybody comes into the equation slowly now. This is what we do. We start doing it, we start judging everything, everyone, everything around us. This is what we end up doing. And then, after we made a certain assessment of what it is, we continuously bargain for results with everyone, including the God. And then the next checker start, that goes one way or the other. Then this whole process starts, and then we are into this endless cycle of spending our life like that. So one of the reasons why these stories are all written with so many loose ends is to habituate us to an idea of saying, don't waste your time asking questions like this. You will prove yourself to be actually, it is impossible. I am telling you the variables, and it is so impossible that we have now come with what is called laws of probability and statistics. We call what is called explained variance and R square. All my management students understand. Explained variance and unexplained variance. Noise and, epsilons and so on. I mean, we have sidestepped all these into some mathematics. This thing is, we have to understand life as law. R square is very less in life. People who know, probability and regression understand. The explained variance is very less in life. It's called R square. In our equation, R square is 0.1 or 0.01. I don't know what it is. 99% is unexplained. The unexplained variance is what life is. The sooner we understand it, Understand it not in a very, I'm not saying that means you have to give up and lost hope of everything. I'm not even saying all that. I'm saying we can become a little wiser. Means, we will keep doing. Things happen, I'm happy it happened the way I wanted it. It doesn't happen, I'll be emotional tonight. I should have one food and one sleep. Tomorrow morning I should become all right. I should get going. One food and one sleep should get us back. Otherwise, we are not wise in life. Now, I'm not saying we don't have emotions. You can unwire ourselves. I'm not at all saying that. I am saying you can't hang on some nonsense for years, months and years and account keep and then think about what you did 1 year later. These are all what we do. Because, these are very complex events in life. That's another message with such stories. A lot of questions that we can potentially ask. We should learn how not to ask those questions. Yes, so
because questioning is definitely being in the world. But seeking something will help you to hate.
No. Seek to understand who I am will lead you. Seek to understand why it happened will not lead you.
That's the starting point.
I am not sure. Seek to understand why events unfolded. Maybe at times you get a little wisdom and got to find the futility of it. In any case, all these should take us there. The more and more we do it, we should be able to have that kind of a little wisdom. Right? So, yeah, in a way, yes. So, our analytical mind all the time has a lot of questions for which you want to find answers. I think that if we can tone it down by a few notches, you will find life unfolds in a very different way. Life actually can make a little more meaning to us. So these stories are all having a lot of these loose and things only to train us to be very comfortable. You need a lot of comfort to read it like that and then keep it aside and keep going. As with analytical mind, if I tell you a joke, you should not analyze the statements in the joke or what happened after the joke. Finished. The joke is gone now. If you do all that. Like that, these episodes have a sukshma. So the stula and all, we have to just keep it. That's why that's why in this country, we have no difficulty reading these Puranas. We just read it and then we don't analyze it too much analytically. We see something nice in it and keep going. So, these kind of storytelling which you see so predominantly in Puranas and Itihasas are telling us it is unwise to try to make sense of unfolding events, judge events and people, anticipate outcomes. Generally do it, but don't go too far. Fix targets and all you do, but karmaneva adhikaraha. Ma paleshu kadachana, as Krishna says, fixed target, but people completely misinterpreted this shloka. They said this shloka means you can't even have a target. Who said you can't have? Of course, I must have targets. But don't jump up and down when you don't reach the target. Develop some wisdom to take it with grace. At that time, understand karman eva adhikaraha ma paleshu. Ma paleshu adhikaraha ityukte kim karaniyam iti na pura nischayam iti putrapi na uttam. Nowhere it said you should not decide what you should do. It only said, please decide, please go. Then what comes there, take it. Develop that wisdom in life. That is the meaning of the shloka. We have to all the time target and work. And results come, what do you do? How do you handle it? That's where the shloka will come actually. So, that's what it is. So, it is better to put the best foot forward and go on in life pursuits. I think that's the most practical way of living. We should put in today's situation, given the thing, put the best foot forward. What comes is Bhagavad Prasada, please take it. It's all Lord. Because the Lord created the world, you and I never created the world. We can only destroy the world in small little ways. That also we can't destroy the world. Your atom bomb cannot destroy the world. Put 1,000 atom bombs, cannot destroy the world. I can take a bet on it. We cannot even destroy the world. We can, in some localized meaning I am saying. The Lord has created the world. Lord has a much bigger equation on the drawing board here. What are you and I in between? We are not even a speck of dust in this. If you understand it, very graciously, you will play the game. So the Lord created the world and the entities. Lord has a larger plan and purpose in which He lets the events unfold. If you develop that attitude to life, we will not stop working. We will work with a lot more. Many of the tensions will go. We can very comfortably work. What is going to happen? Let's do. We'll do that. So for all these reasons, that is why Ganga is very holy to us. This whole story is a story for life. And of course, then the river and all these we see Pratyaksha. The river must remain all these. That river is an embodiment of all these profound messages that goes behind the story. That's why the river is holy to me. So the efforts and the results places the whole issue in a very different pedestal. That's why for me Ganga is not equal to Ganges. Ganges is a river. And that is what was the Samskriti of this country. That's why it was such a holy journey to go and have darshan of Ganga, have a dip with all devotion, take that water. If every one of us felt strongly like that, river pollution is impossible in this country. We have not felt like that. These are all very few because this umbilical cord is cut now. In the last 200 years, this umbilical cord is cut. Macaulay has taught us how to actually learn English and do things. So therefore, all these we have actually put it at the back. That is why it is happening. Otherwise, we said the rivers are holy to us, mountains are holy to us, trees are holy to us. I mean, what better conversation need for sustainability? I don't want any lessons on sustainability from anyone. If I read some of these things very well, I know what is sustainability. Now we have lost out, and then another conversation of sustainability is coming now and saying suddenly rivers are important, recycling is important. And recycling was way of our life, actually. All that. So Ganga is not equal to Ganges, according to me. She is nothing but direct manifestation of divinity. She has descended for a great cause. The message has its own profound impact. I think this country's lifeline is Gangetic plain. I will not hesitate to say that. So she is all too important for us. And I don't know what Ganga action plan is happening, and so many thousand crores are flowing into the river. That much I know. But what happens out of that, I have no idea, because the problem is not that. The problem is our population is little moved away from this greatness of this whole thing. That's why we have all these problems actually. Yamuna, the pollution in Yamuna. Because the meaning is lost. See, what is the difference between human? See, only thing for which human beings exist is meaning. Human beings exist only for meaning, not for anything else. It's only for meaning. So wherever we have taken the meaning out of it, we will not be a human being in that dimension. Please understand that human beings are for meaning making. If you can't make meaning, you become empty in that dimension. That is what it has happened actually. We are unable to make meaning of many of these because we have little distance from this. And the slightest effort to bring Sanskrit, I mean, it's a funny country, I am telling you. Why there is so much of blood pressure rises to Indians and many Hindus? I don't understand. There is no religion here. It is a very long history of practices and ideas which are all there, and path dependence requires I should read it here. I don't know, otherwise I will not even go one step forward. You will use Gary Hamel's theory and say, please read all your Puranas, otherwise you don't know where to go forward. You don't start all over with no framework. It's a problem. Expression of infinite compassion and divine mother. To me, Ganga is like that. I don't think it is simply like a river. In fact, not Ganga. All rivers are like that. That's the height of conversation we can have on sustainability. That's the height of conversation you can have on sustainability. They are all, the divinity manifests in Panchabhutas. And that was our original conception. Divinity manifests in Panchabhutas. All Ramakrishna later. Because people are not able to make sense of it, you have to get personal God. In Krita Yuga, they didn't need personal God because their level of thing was much higher. Panchabhutas were gods for them. They don't need any of these gods. Now we need, even these Pauranic Devatas are not enough for us. Now we need God men also. We are not able to even appreciate these. This has become a distant reality for us. That's why we need Jaggi Vasudevs or Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, Shankaracharya. We need all of them. I'm not talking less of all of them. I'm only saying that we are unable to connect. So we need more and more connections. For us, every river, every element of Panchabhuta is nothing but direct divinity, personified. I don't know why we should look at it in any other ways. And if people can do it, sustainability problems according to me solved. You cannot create a sustainability problem of sorts. So to me, it is not only a source of perennial water. To me, this Gangā Avataraṇa episode, if you read it with all these messages and think of all these messages and so on, it can be a perennial source of inspiration for life. Why not?